Boy, oh boy, this is being fun. Let's see if this one works. Uh, you know, who knows? Maybe it's something I need to address with AT&T because this is getting ridiculous. Uh, so we'll wait for some people to show up here and then we'll see what happens after that. Never you get here, let me know you're here and then I'll get started here. Okay, let's hopefully this one works again. Yeah, AT&T isn't my best friends right now. Ugh. Okay, let's see. We got two back. All right. We'll go ahead and start. We'll see how this goes. Definitely let me know if it starts acting up again, because then perhaps EA is attacking me. Yeah, probably. Um if it ends up having more problems, we'll probably just have to skip this week, unfortunately, and I don't want to do that, but or maybe find a different way to do it. Maybe it's this YouTube thing. I don't know. Because I'm using the YouTube's camera thing, and maybe that's the problem. But we'll find out. Let's see. Um, all right, I'm gonna talk about Daredevil. Now, as I was saying, I really wasn't surprised they canceled Luke Cage and Iron Fist. But I saw a reboot of that happening. Daredevil being canceled tells me that the other two shows are probably doomed. Um, Now on Netflix, we will get to see the next seasons of Jessica Jones and the Punisher. But I have a feeling they will be canceled after that. Um, uh, if either of them does survive, it'll probably be the Punisher because it does have the most potential um, to stand on its own character wise. And honestly, it can't really be retooled for Disney Plus unless they're going to have mature shows on the platform, which I find to be highly doubtful. Um, I I have some ideas on that, and I don't want to talk about that stuff yet. Um, I have ideas later that I'm going to address when it comes to the Punisher and the future of the Punisher, especially if it doesn't stay on Netflix. Um, Daredevil showrunners were surprised that the show was canceled. They even had season 4 planned out, and say that the show uh, isn't going to continue elsewhere, and it'll probably end up being something new. Hey, Lunar, how you doing? Hopefully, this stream's going a little better, guys. I like I said, not sure what's going on. It's saying it's okay on my end at the moment. Um, Maybe it's whatever's up there is kind of way of telling me I should go to bed and rest instead of being halfway sick and doing this. But anyway, um, my thoughts on the future um flops again. uh Hopefully it's like again, like I said, hopefully the stream's going okay. Just let me know. My future or my thoughts on the future of Daredevil is that he's coming to the MCU. And I honestly don't think they're going to change Charlie Cox. I think he is going to stay uh as the character, and he's going to become at least a part of whatever happens uh, after this next Avengers movie, whatever everything becomes. Um, he's going to be a part of that, and he everybody do the flop. Uh, I think that he may even show up in the next Spider-Man movie. I mean, maybe an after credit scene or something. Um, The one thing I do think they're definitely gonna keep, and this will probably end up being a Spider-Man thing, is how can you replace Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin? Daniel, what's going on? Um, but yeah, how can you replace Vincent D'Onofrio? Um, Desiree flopped. Um, let's see. Uh, but yeah, Sony be damned, the rules be damned, the contracts be damned, who owns what be damned. I think that we're gonna get a Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin on the big screen sometime. I also think that Eldon Henson, Elda Young, and Deborah Ann Wool will probably be involved in the show somehow. Um, because if any of the Netflix characters can transition the easiest, it's Daredevil. The material strives at a mature rating, but it doesn't need to have a mature rating to work. So I don't know if they're going to do a Disney Plus movie or if he's going to end up on the big screen, which I think that's where it's going to be. I can see them doing a Daredevil movie again with Marvel and Disney in control. It'll be a little different than the Ben Affleck one, a lot different than the Ben Affleck one. Um, but I can see that Daredevil happening. It doesn't have to be a mature rated. Now, granted, we like a mature rated Daredevil, but you can turn that character PG-13 uh and kind of go dark like the Dark Knight, and I think that character will be fine. It doesn't have to be bloody to be brutal and dark. So that's what I think they're going to do with Daredevil. If you have any thoughts on what the future of the Netflix MCU is, definitely leave a comment in the chat there. Um, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. Uh, Monday, um, okay, here's the thing. I'm tired of the terms limited release or select theaters when it comes to movies nowadays because um in this day and age of digital distribution and uh things like Vudu or Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus or all that stuff that you can stream movies on, there is no reason why movies shouldn't go to theaters or straight to your home to watch. I can understand maybe doing of something uh a week of something for like a premiere. Like if they want to do an LA and New York premiere or something, I'm fine with that. But you shouldn't have to wait months and months to see movies anymore. Um Especially ones that are, awards contenders and things. I mean, come on. The Decatur area has three theaters. There's two AMC's and the Avon. The Avon's the art theater kind of place, and then the two AMC's are, well, AMC's. And our two AMC theaters both got that stupid Possession movie that if you watch my review of it, watch me rip it apart. Both theaters got that, yet neither of them got Green Book, which is probably going to be at least maybe even considered for awards this year. And I wanted to see it. So I had to go to Springfield anyway. I had something to pick up at DXL. And since we don't have one in Decatur, unfortunately, I had to go to Springfield. So I go there, I pick up that, and then I go to the theater, see Green Book. Started about, I think it was 4 o'clock. And I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying it. It's about an hour in. Um, and for those of you that don't know what Green Book is, it's a movie where a guy has to take an African American piano player on a tour in the deep south, and he uh he knows there's going to be trouble. Well, I didn't get into the road trip part of it because when they got to the part where they're getting ready to leave for the road trip, and they and the character gets handed said green book, literally the second it goes into his hand, boom, power goes out, and the whatever emergency lights or whatever come on, and me and the other guy in the theater are like, okay, so so yeah, we're sitting there and they come in and tell us, well, you can wait if you want. I said, well, I came from Decatur to see us. I'm gonna at least gonna wait a little while. And so it got to a point where I waited, I don't know, maybe a half hour. Um, and they finally come in and they said, yeah, our generators are going out, so we have to evacuate the building. Okay. So yeah, I got to see half of Green Room on Monday. and I wasn't too happy about that. Uh, I mean, I don't blame the people at theater. I mean, the whole block of power went out. It just wasn't the theater. Yet you go 2 blocks down in Springfield and everything was on. So, excuse me. So, um, I decided I'm like, well, I'm in Springfield already. I'm gonna stop at a couple places. I stopped. They have a Kmart that's closing on the outside of town, or right before you leave town. I go into that depressing mess, and didn't buy anything. And then I went to Freddy's, which is basically a better version of Steak and Shake, and got some food to go. Which I'll tell you, if you eat at Freddy's, eat it there. Don't get it to go. It's not as good. It's still fine. But then I checked AMC's website because I'm like, well, they were gonna have another 7 o'clock screening, and if it's on, I'm gonna see it. I'm in town. I might as well. Plus, they gave me 2 free passes. By the way, I used my AMC A list, so I got in for nothing, and then they gave me 2 free passes. Um, and then so I checked the AMC website, and props to the AMC website. They actually will tell you this theater is not currently open. Um, what was crazy though was I was gonna sleep for a while, and I was gonna go see the 7 o'clock showing because that would have made for definitely a sucky trip to Springfield if I would have went there late and all of a sudden I go and it's pitch black. I mean, the whole area is pitch black. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't see the light poles, anything. All that stuff was out. So, so yeah, I may go back tomorrow or Friday since I don't think we're even getting anything coming out here in town. I can't go Saturday because Saturday I'm going to St. Louis. Uh, at 11:30, I'm seeing the new Spider-Man movie, and then later that night, I think it's at 7. I got tickets to see Bumblebee. Um, so I get to see both of those early, and I did get tickets to the Aquaman movie the next Saturday after that, so I get to see all those early, which is kind of nice. That'll make my week before Christmas a way lighter. Because I was afraid I was going to see like 7 movies that week. Um, so yeah, I do want to see Green Book again. I may go tomorrow or I may go Friday because both days are kind of open. Because I really want to see it. I was enjoying it up to that point. I'm curious to read up on the controversy behind that movie. Apparently, there's controversy about some whitewashing going on. I don't look up stuff about movies before I see them. I always do that after. There is a History versus Hollywood on it, so I'm definitely gonna check that out. Um, so anyway, that's my how I got to see half of Green Book. Let's see. Let's see. Lunar says they might renew some of the Netflix shows for the Disney service. I don't know if they're going to renew the shows for the Disney service. Not in the current form. As much as we'd like to see that and continue the story and everything, and they might surprise us and do that, but I just don't see the Disney service having an M-rated format. I just don't. Again, I have ideas on how they're going to do M-rated Marvel stuff, but I think I'm going to try to do a video of that in the future. And I don't have all my thoughts collected on that. So I'll probably talk about that later, but it's definitely not going to be on the Disney Plus service. Or if it is, that will surprise me. It'll be a nice surprise if they continue the stories, but from the way they say it, all the Netflix shows are staying on Netflix. They said you'll be able to enjoy what's here forever. So I don't see Disney and them making another deal. So um, let's see. Daredevil is flexible. He can go easily from PG to R. He can work out however they want to use him. They just better not nix everything. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but I just know that Daredevil is going to continue. Daredevil is too popular. The idea of almost getting Bullseye, um, even though technically we didn't get full-fledged Bullseye. I think they're definitely gonna continue that because people wanted that for so long, and then plus with Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, who I'm sorry, name me somebody else who can play it better than him. I mean, I know there's people that probably could do a good job, but I'm sorry, Vincent D'Onofrio to me is the quintessential Kingpin. Um, so I know Daredevil's going to continue, and in some way, Punisher's going to continue. Whether it may stay on Netflix, I wouldn't be surprised if it stayed on Netflix if they made some kind of deal. But I think Disney's got other plans for anything R-rated. That includes them getting Deadpool and um, all that stuff. The stuff they're getting from Fox, plus like characters like Ghost Rider and things like that. I think they've got a plan. I'm going to talk about that sometime when I can get all my thoughts collected. Um, Xantiltan says, I'm not following much about the Netflix series except when something controversial appear, like the fact they're going to change some characters on The Witcher. Excuse me. New Netflix series. I'm looking forward to that series. That being said, I've never played the games. Apparently, they're supposed to follow the books and not the games, and I guess there's big differences there. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. The one thing I will say is I saw the picture of Henry Cavill as the main character, um, but uh, I he needs the beard. He's got to grow the beard, and I know that the beard didn't come till later in the games or whatever. But I just think I don't know unless they're going to scuff him up pretty good. He almost looks like an elf, like from Tolkien with that hair. So he needs the beard, I think, and they need to rough up his face a little bit. I really hope they do because I mean, Henry Cavill's a very good looking dude, and for the pictures I've seen of that main character, he's just kind of a rough guy. So I'm really hoping they rough him up some. He's definitely got the acting chops to pull it off, I think, though. Um, Desiree, I know you brought this up on the YouTube comments section. The Devil May Cry on Netflix, and I do have some notes on that. And we can go ahead and do that now. Um, Now, she wanted to know my thoughts on Adi Shankar adapting Devil May Cry into an animated series and linking it to the Netflix's Castlevania show. Um, I like the idea of Adi Shankar. Uh, I like the idea of him getting the chance to adapt any game series that he wants to after his work on Castlevania. Now there was I don't know I haven't heard any developments on it lately, but apparently he was supposed to be working on uh, a Assassin's Creed animated series as well. But like I said, I haven't heard anything new on that. And you mentioned about how they were supposed to connect these universes. Now, the articles I read said it was supposed to be like some bootleg universe or something like that. Now, here's the way I see it. I do not want a shared universe between these games. There's too many different stories and there's too many different things that they need to tell, stories they need to tell, characters they need to introduce to just cram all these together. What I'm okay with though is them doing a multiverse, kind of like what they're doing with uh the Arrow and the Flash and Supergirl and things like that, where every now and then bring them together and do a story together. But other than that, don't just leave them to their own separate stories. I'm okay with that as long as the multiverse stuff doesn't have a major effect on the regular stories as a whole. Uh, you know, they need to be careful doing this, but it's a fine idea. Just don't make it like the Marvel shared universe. We don't need another Captain N mature version. Okay, I'd kind of like to see that, but but I think a multiverse is fine. Shared universe, no, I don't wanna see that. I was never into Devil May Cry, played it a couple times. I understand and appreciate the liking of that game or that game series. It's definitely a cool looking series, and I would love to see that in cartoon form. They had a cartoon, what was it, mid-2000s, I think? I don't know how long it lasted, like an anime, but I never saw it. Um, but I definitely like the idea of other game series that they would have a hard time making movies out of become these like Netflix animated shows, Assassin's Creed, Castlevania, Devil May Cry. just anything like that. I'm really curious to see what Adi Shankar can do with them. Let's see. Daniel says Green Book is awesome. I know half of it was good. I definitely got to see the end of it. Zepser says, "Holy crap! A Kmart is still open." Yeah, there's a few. This one is going out of business. It's the last one around us that I know of, and it's been the one I'd been to the longest. It's sad to see it go, but hey, that's the way of the world now, I guess. Daniel says you should say hi to Brad uh, when you were there. Well, Brad was at Wizard World. He was coming back from Wizard World on Monday, um, and yeah, I thought about contacting him, and I was like, oh, and then he posted some picture where they were at some restaurant up in Wisconsin or something. So I was like, oh, they're still there. So um, I did talk to him a little bit today. I texted him a little bit today. Asked him how things were going. He's doing pretty good. I want to work with him again when I get a chance. I not sure when that's going to happen, but hey, it'll happen when it happens. Um, Let's see. Zanzelton says, correct me if wrong, but didn't Kmart go out of business? I remember seeing something about that on news. Yeah, Sears and all that stuff's pretty well done. There's just there's a few stores left and everything. I mean, and plus there were some that are franchised out and things like that that technically were Kmart, but not. That hot chocolate was getting cold, so figured I better finish it. Um, so yeah, they're pretty well done, but uh, you know, it's just another part of my past going away, I guess. Let's see. Kmart is 98% dead, and there's still a few clinging on. Yeah, I think this is the last one around us that I can remember. Um, let's see. Yeah, Sears filed, and Kmart is a subsidiary of Sears. Yeah. Xanthus says, yeah, here in Argentina, Carrefour is about to do the same as Carrefour. You said that's like a Kmart. Um, Desiree says Michael Clark Duncan was a great kingpin. Too bad he was a great kingpin in a bad movie. May rest in peace, knowing he was in much better flicks. Yeah, I was fine with this performance. He definitely was one of. I enjoyed the people in that movie, and I, in a way, enjoy that movie. Especially the director's cut isn't the worst. Is it good? No. Can I enjoy it? Yeah. Um, I got a bit of a thing for Jennifer Garner, so I enjoyed her in that movie. Ben Affleck was okay. I mean, bad. Just it was a bad story. It just tried to hit all the bases. So, and it didn't get deep enough. I mean, Colin Farrell as Bullseye was ridiculous, but he was fun. And Michael Clark Duncan definitely left us too soon. I really liked that guy and wanted to see him get to do more. I liked I even liked him even though you didn't get to see him. I liked him as Kilowog in Green Lantern. I mean, there were good things about Green Lantern, and he was good as Kilowog. Um, Desiree says they did have an anime, of Devil May Cry. It was great with the upcoming game and new Netflix show. It's feeding into my fangirl of the game. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, there's nothing worse than a game that you've been waiting for to come back and then it's terrible. Um, Thankfully, the my one of my favorite series is Max Payne, and the last one was good. And I'm almost afraid for them to come out with another one, even though I want one. Lunar says my town's Kmart closed 3 years ago. Yeah, most of them around us closed a few years ago too, but this one in Springfield just hung on, and they finally just started closing it down. That was a couple months ago. Um, Xantoten says, yeah, I can understand Desiree. I already bought my Kingdom Hearts 3, only 2 more months. That's if they don't delay it. I played the first two Kingdom Hearts. I enjoyed them. It's not one I would say I was looking forward to, but I get that people like it, and I liked it when I played it. Um, Daniel says if Brad's back in Springfield now, you and him could go see Green Book tomorrow, Friday. I brought that up to him. I just told him tomorrow and Friday I was available. If he wanted me to come help him, I'm there to help. Uh, his channel, his rules. Uh, I come help him when he asks when I can. So let's see. Zanstan, hey dude, cheers. I'm drinking Some Cunnington, a much sweeter Pepsi here in Argentina. Oh, nice. With a little bit of scotch. Well, I've switched to Not Your Father's Vanilla Cream Ale. If you've never had this stuff, it's awesome. I like Not Your Father's root beer and all the other stuff they make, but this is the best. I love cream soda, and this stuff's awesome. I remember the first time I had Not Your Father's root beer is at Zany's Comedy Club in Rosemont, and I had it. And I'm like, this is really good. And then they came out with this, and I don't I buy the other ones every now and then, but I buy this one more than anything. Guy says they sure as hell will delay Kingdom Hearts 3. Uh, Fingers crossed. Hopefully they get to continue that story. I think fans have been waiting long enough. um, Zepster, I'm currently drinking water because I can't drink soda anymore. My drink is way less fun. Yeah, I can't say I've been good lately. Uh, I've been getting really bad headaches, and caffeine helps, and I can only drink so much tea and coffee. So yeah, I've been bad with sodas, uh, and I need to stop. Um, but yeah, I've been bad lately, and I need to do better. Um, let's see. Guy says drinking water too. Cheers. I probably should be drinking water. Um, let's see. Desiree, fruit tea here. Damn sore throat. Yeah, I was saying this earlier on the first stream. When I got back from Springfield Monday, I laid down. I felt fine. Tuesday morning, I get up for work and I'm dying. I'm feeling it now too. Gotta love my sinuses. Um, all right, I'm gonna talk about oh yeah, my saga between PayPal and Walmart is over. I can't exactly remember where I left off. I think it was supposed to be calling um I'm supposed to be calling the credit card company to have them cancel this account. If those of you that were here last time probably remember that I got double charged by Walmart and the PayPal thing didn't get through, and Walmart didn't get the order, and it was a mess. Um, and so I call the credit card company and they said, well, we can't do anything for you. And of course, that's starting to drive me nuts. And have you ever been talking to a guy on a phone, like a person that's supposed to be helping you, and they keep just repeating the same thing like you didn't hear them the first 57 times? I'm trying not to get mad at this guy, right? Because I've dealt with what this is probably my 12th person I've dealt with. And um, I said, look, you've repeated this 27 times. I get that you can't look at this and this and that. I heard you. You don't have to tell me again. Please do not tell me again. And I tried to be nice with him, but he says, well, you need to call this one. I think it was I had to call PayPal again. And finally I called PayPal again. This was ended up being on Friday. That was Thursday. This is Friday. And I called PayPal again and I said, look, here's the situation. Well, you need to get in touch with Walmart. I said, I've already done this. And those of you that have been watching the channel for a while and some of my reviews, I've mentioned that I have a thing for accents. Uh, it doesn't matter what the accent is. I have a thing for accents. So, you know, a lot of people complain about getting call centers that are based in India. I don't mind it so much uh, because I don't mind listening to the accents. So I finally get a hold of this person. I'm talking to them and they're telling me the same stuff. And I'm like, okay, uh, it's like, I know this is not your fault, but I'm telling you the whole thing. This is not going to work. We've done this 3 times. And finally, she said, we're going to email Walmart and they will respond back to us and you should hear back soon. I said, okay, thankfully. So they emailed Walmart, I guess. They said they were going to email me the responses and everything. They never did. But on Monday, everything was finally clear. Walmart was like, no, we don't have this order. PayPal said, okay, we'll get rid of it. And everything was finally clear. Thank goodness. Everything was fixed. I'm so happy. It shouldn't have took a week, but now I'm free to spend that money and go into the hole some more for Christmas. No, I'm pretty well done with Christmas shopping, thankfully. I gotta do stocking stuffers, that's about it for the boys. I got everything else done. Everything's either on the way or here, so I'm happy that that's done. Let's go through a few more, comments here. Um, let's see, Zaytelson says, "Well, this might be my last since this Monday I have to start the diet and the exercise. Damn, but oh well, that's life." Yeah, I need to get back on track too, but then again, Christmas is coming around, so of course my mom makes like the amazing party mix and all the snacks and everything. So I got to be good, and I really just need to be better. I can do it. I just know I can. I just got to. Um, let's see. Lunar says, hot coffee. It's cold where I live. Yeah, it's cold here too. The hot chocolate tasted good for a while. It was getting cold. I had to finish it up. Um, Zepser, I've been on a diet myself for a while. It's rough. Yeah, buddy. I know. I know you and I have talked a little bit about it. I am proud of you, buddy. Keep it up. Do better than me. Be better than me. And I'm gonna try to get back on track. It's it's not easy, and it'll never be easy. I mean, even when at times when I lost weight, I would look in the mirror and see a big dude. It just never changes. And as rough as that is, that's the way it is. I've always seen myself as that way, even when I'm not. And it's rough, but keep at it, man. Just keep at it. I know you can do it. And I'll try to get back on it. And it's you know it's rough, man. I get it. Ryan, hey, I'm back. Great. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad this stream is working this time. I don't know what happened the first time, but hey, hopefully it stays okay. Xanthiltan Flea is absurd. Been on a diet when I was a teen. Now again, this time I had exercise. I started doing boxing. I if I could find a place to do where I could fit it in my schedule to do like boxing and MMA and stuff, that stuff is so much fun would not even feel like work for me because we all know that getting on treadmills and stuff does not feel like fun. Uh, it is for some people. I guess if we turn on a movie or something, but I can't stand that stuff, even though like elliptical machines are the only thing I can do comfortably because I'm 6'3", and a lot of those machines you got to be tiny. Um, but if you're gonna exercise, I like walking. It's hard to walk in the cold weather that's going on right now, but during the summertime, I just need to get walking again, and I'll be all right. But you know, it dieting is not easy. Excuse me, and exercise is not easy, but something we got to do. There's times where I'm just like, screw it, I'm gonna die happy, but would I really die happy? Um, Trencher just joined us not too long ago, and he's a first on this channel, and I don't even know how this works, but he did a super chat. So thank you very much, Trencher. That was unnecessary, but I do appreciate it. Um, that's a first on this channel. I don't even know how they work, but hey, I appreciate it. Desiree managed to diet and work out last year, but the summers here are torture and effectively ruined my progress because, like hell, am I gonna do shiz in the hellish heat? What's funny? Whenever it came to walking out at the parks and stuff, and the bike paths, I used to walk on the local parks bike path. The hotter, the better for me. But then again, you're in Texas, I'm not, so I can imagine it's a lot worse for you. Um, Geez, Trencher, I appreciate that too. Uh, I can't say thank you enough. Let's see, Ryan, in honor of the death of Steven Hillenberg, what was your favorite SpongeBob episode? Yeah, someone else asked me about that on YouTube, and I've got some notes here on that. Zanzeltan asked that over on the YouTube community section. If you guys don't know, uh, YouTube, I now have the community tab, so I will be posting stuff there. And I believe to see those in your feed, you have to turn them on in your feed. So if you want to see those in your feed, make sure you turn them on. I think that's how it works. At least that's what my app said for other people's. You could turn them on whether you want to see them or not. But I will be posting stuff there. I post a lot of that same stuff on Twitter too. So definitely put stuff there, especially if you want to talk about stuff on this program. My thoughts on Steven Hillenberg. The guy's definitely a pioneer. He definitely created a movement, uh, a legendary cartoon character now. I can never say I was big time into SpongeBob. Um, I've watched more with my kids than I have myself. I don't remember when it came out, but I was a little older than a lot of people that were into it. There, of course, there are stuff there are things I enjoy about that show a lot. When I watch it, I enjoy it most of the time. Um, Anything with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is always funny. 1999, yeah, I would have been starting college then. Thank you, Daniel. Or I was in the middle of college. My college career was kind of strange. Um, so I enjoy it when I see it. I do get a kick out of the episode that a lot of people got mad about, a lot of conservatives got mad about, and that was the episode where Patrick and SpongeBob were raising, I believe it was a jellyfish, and people were like, "Oh, aren't they gay now?" It's like it was a stupid episode, and I just loved it because SpongeBob was at home doing all the work, and Patrick would be like, "I'm going to work," and he would go and he would go over to under his rock and watch TV when he was supposed to be at work. Um, if there's one thing I really enjoy about SpongeBob, though, and this actually has to do with a convention, it's the dirty bubble. I don't know why I get a kick out of this. Um, but okay. Excuse me. Um, at conventions, this was at C2E2 the first time I saw it, and I've seen it at many conventions. There's a guy, and if you search on Google, uh, Dirty Bubble Convention, you'll probably see this guy. It's a guy with, one of those the end is nigh signs where it's kind of strapped over and it's got just a sign down the front and the back. Well, anyway, he has a costume that's the Dirty Bubble, and that's the costume. And I get a laugh out of that every single time I see it. I roll every time I see it. The Dirty Bubble. I just love that character. It's so stupid, but I love it. So yeah, if you look that up, it's like one of the first pictures you'll see. Especially if you search C2E2 because there's lots of pictures of him from there, and I've seen him at Comic Cons and other things like that. So when it comes to SpongeBob, what's crazy though is the first time I saw it, it reminded me a ton of Ren and Stimpy, and I was like, because it had similar art styles, um, and so I'm like, okay, the guy that created this has to be inspired by Ren and Stimpy. There's just no way. Like whenever they would go, you have the animated stuff, and then they would go to like a still picture, and it almost feel like almost photorealistic, kind of like what Ren and Stimpy did. Well, it turns out that that's not a coincidence because Vincent Waller, who is a writer, artist, animator, storyboard artist, and technical director, worked on both Ren and Stimpy and SpongeBob. So the fact that SpongeBob was inspired by one of my favorite shows, I have to give a lot of credit to that. We've been talking about SpongeBob at work a lot lately, especially since Hillenberg's passing. Um, and yeah, it's a show that I can never say I was a huge fan of it, but I can say I get it. I totally get the fandom, and when I do see it, I really enjoy it, because there's a lot of great humor there that, uh, it's a lot deeper than just, "Hey, I'm SpongeBob," a lot of people just see it as dumb, but it's a lot more brilliant, and even, like, the movies, the first time I saw that last movie, it gave me a migraine, but then again, I went back and watched it at home, and it wasn't blaring right in my face at a huge movie screen. It, it was I appreciated it more because I could follow the story and it not having it blare into my eyes and give me a headache. So, let's see, the, we'll go back to the comments here. Let's see, Zepcern, I've been big my whole life, so yeah, I get seeing a big guy mirror every time and to get used to it. Yeah, it's hard to not see that in the mirror. If especially if you've been that the longer you're that way, it just gets harder and harder. Zantel 10 says, "Well, I understand you, Gino. You too, Zepser, and I'm 6'1". with 200 pounds now. So yeah, I'm a big dude. Yeah, it's hard being a big guy, and we all need to do better. But you know what? It You just got to try. It's the best you can do. Is try your hardest. I mean, you're gonna fall, you're gonna fail, but or at least when I say fail, I just mean at the moment. But just keep getting back up and trying. And if you do fail, don't beat yourself up about it. And that's definitely the hardest thing to do. But definitely try to get back on it, and you'll definitely start to feel better. Um, Zepzern says, Zanson, man, I wish it was 200 pounds. Uh, man, at my best, I could only get to about 220, and I still felt big. But then again, there was parts of me I didn't think I could lose more weight. Zanstan says, great episode. Which one were you referring to, bud? The the family one. Um, oh, Tea with Tanika. Those of you in this chat, welcome Tanika to this video, to this live stream. Tanika, I used to work with at the new station I work at now. She has a YouTube channel, does a lot of stuff on fashion and everything. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely check out her channel. Tanika, I don't remember how many years we worked together, but we had a good time at the station. And I definitely miss you there. She started a segment there around the same time I was doing my segment, my movie review segment. And I still remember creating your monitor for that. So welcome to the chat. It's nice to see you here. Definitely good to have you. Daniel says Mortal Engines got a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse got 100. The Mortal Engines, I'm not surprised. I mean, granted, I'll be the judge of that when I see it, but the Mortal Engines almost looks like it's trying too hard. Uh, to be the next Lord of the Rings, and being that it's from Peter Jackson, you know. Um, I am curious to see it though, but the acting in those trailers looks like they're overacting. Spider-Man looks amazing, and I'll find out Saturday. I probably will have an embargo on that review, but it'll definitely be out within a week. Let's see. Tanika says, my favorite episode is the one where SpongeBob and Patrick visit Sandy for the first time. Yes, I love that one where they're drying up and they won't ask for water. That one is hilarious. I do get a kick out of that one. Zanchiston says, to me, the best episode is the first Krabby Patty of Squidward. That reminds me so hard of Ren and Stimpy episodes. I've never seen that one, and they brought it up at work the other day, so that's one I'm probably gonna have to check out. Desiree says my favorite episode is when they almost kill the food critic. It gets dark. I remember that one. That one was good too. See, you would think I would watch that show after whenever I watch it, I enjoy it, but it's just one of those. It's been around for so long. How could you ever catch up? Let's see. Xantleton says, yes, that episode or the one of the working at the dark. The Nosferatu ending is so funny. I don't remember that one. Trencher says, when I lost weight, I felt it long before I saw it. Lose weight makes you feel lighter and better. Yeah, it does. You do feel better, but like I said, it's for me. I felt great when I lost weight. I did, but it's just that mental game. The mental game is worse than the physical game because the physical game you're feeling pretty good. Your knees don't hurt anymore. Your back don't hurt anymore. Things like that. Especially if you lose a ton. I lost around 150 some pounds the last time I lost weight, and uh, it's just I would still look in the mirror and I'd see a 400 some pound guy. And it's just the mental game, man. It's just hard to shake that. A lot of times I always tried to keep busy because the busier I kept, I didn't think about it. But then when I thought about it, it got pretty bad. Zangelton says, hi, Tanika. Tanika says, miss you. It's been 4 years. Wow. Man, I'm getting old. um, yeah, I'm glad to see you kept with it, Tanika. Definitely keep with your channel. I know you were hitting a rough patch there. And I'm glad to see you kept with it. I told you that you'll regret it if you quit. I know you're not a quitter, so you definitely keep with it. Trencher says Mortal Engines is out. I read the book and thought that it would need some changes to work as a movie. It's out for critics right now. It's on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure. I don't know how many people have seen it, but I know some critics have seen it. I know I got an invite to a screening yesterday or today. I'm not gonna be able to make it because I just don't want to travel for that one, but I am curious to see it though. What's weird though is I really like the poster because the girl kind of looks like a ninja with the face mask on. I think the poster looks cool, but I don't know. I want the movie to be good, but I have my fears about it. Let's see. Tanika says hi Zans. Desiree says hello Tanika. All right. The last story I want to talk about today um, is my furnace died last week. Um, and of course, it was on the coldest days of the week last week. I wouldn't have worried about it so much, uh, but I had my kids last week. I do a week on, week off thing with my ex, and I noticed that the floor, I have hardwood floors, and they were getting really cold. And so it was about 9 o'clock. I got the kids to bed, and I tried turning up the furnace, and nothing happened. And it's like, oh boy. Thankfully, long story short, it was just one little part. Um, Instead of like the whole furnace is one little like circuit board little thing uh that just went out. So I was happy that that was the case. Thankfully they got in the next day, they fixed it. But unless you in case you can't tell, I mean I know I look like I live the extravagant lifestyle here, but no, I'm kidding. I Money is tight. I mean, it's I'm doing okay, but money is tight, and look, a lot of people rip on their parents. Me, I have great parents because they basically said it's getting fixed. You're fine. Even though I wouldn't have been able to pay, I couldn't even pay for the repair this time. I mean, I'm paying them back, but they said we're taking care of you. Um, so yeah, I my mom was here when they were putting it in and she had the checkbook ready, whatever it was going to be. She said we're taking care of it, you're going to be fine. And I told her I was like I'm paying you back. So yeah, I have great parents. I appreciate especially my mom. She uh anytime I got to go to a movie and I got the boys, she's allowing me to follow my dreams whatever they may be. And she watches the boys for me, and I my mom's retired now, and but she was even doing this when she was working. She's retired now, so I do my best to take it easy on her, but she's helping me out, and she helped me out with this. So yeah, you can probably hear the thing running now. But yeah, it wasn't running, and it was cold in this house. I would like I said, if I'd have been on my own, it wouldn't have been a rush. But the boys were here, and uh, I was worried that they would be in bad shape. When I found out it was out, I went in there, put the extra covers on them. It's like we're gonna be fine. My dad even came and looked at it. He's like, I don't know what to do. He had some ideas, but it wasn't Mike said it ended up being this little circuit board thing, and it was fine. But I was because I started looking up costs of furnaces, and I was not getting happy. So I'm glad it was something small, and I'm glad that uh, I have amazing parents. Like I said, I mean, I may have my differences with my parents every now and then, but it's nothing that would make me not appreciate what they've done for me and how they've helped me. So if my mom ends up watching this, I love you, mother. You didn't let us freeze. So anyway, if you have anything else you want to talk about, definitely put it in the comments here. That's the last big story I got for this week. I didn't think I was gonna have anything to talk about this week, and then all of a sudden, boom, hey, topics. Um, so here we go. Let's see. Trencher, okay, it would be good if they remove the main character, or at least downplay him greatly. Um, is the main character the son of the bad guy or something like that, Trencher? Yeah, I what little bit I know, I thought that the one girl uh, was the main character, but then again, there could be multiple main characters. Zanzotan has a little advice, watch the first 5 seasons of SpongeBob. Those are the greatest and more funny episodes or of his episodes. They're full of great episodes. I just got Amazon again. I think they're all on there, so I might have to check some out. Zep's starting to keep warm. Just do what I did and get really fat. I was an overachiever there, buddy. Uh, I'm already there, and I don't want to be. That's good. Um, Tanika says moms are the best. Uh, Most of them are. You should always appreciate a mother, at least for being a mother. Some are definitely better than others, and I have an amazing one, as I'm sure a lot of you do too. Desiree, I am super duper fluffy, bro. I get colder faster than everyone else. I fear my fluffiness is made of paper. Why? Zets 10. Oh, I have so much problems with cold weather. That's why I love so much my girlfriend. Uh, she's my little heater. I cuddle her in the winter nights. That makes me feel lonely. I'm just kidding. Um, Tanika, you've got a great voice. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast? I did here on the channel for about 49 episodes. I got tired of scripting it. This is kind of my podcast right now. Uh, I have some ideas if I can make them work to bring back my podcast, but I'm not going to bring it back in the format where I scripted the whole thing because, see, here's my notes for this. There's 5 pages. My notes for my former podcast was about 40 to 50 pages a week, and I can't do that anymore. But and the voice right now is because I'm partially sick. So but I like to think I have a good voice even though when I'm not. Um Trench says the main character is not the girl. That kind of surprised me because that's what they're pushing in they're pushing on the trailers for that movie. So that kind of surprises me. Mother, there is no other, so treat her right, treat her right. That's right, Scott. If you got good parents, I mean, you can have your odds with your parents, but always be good to them. My parents, even in high school, whenever I didn't know who I was, and uh, I was down a pretty dark path in high school, they stuck with me, and where a lot of parents could just easily give up on their kids. My parents never did. Uh, I mean, I'm sure they got frustrated with me plenty, but they've always been on my side, and I can never appreciate them enough for that. Trencher says I don't hear any difference in the voice, probably because I've been talking, but I bet I wake up tomorrow and I don't have a voice. Kind of like when I went to interview when I interviewed Doug Jones years ago. Um, I got sick at Comic Con the day before uh, I was supposed to interview him. I lost my voice that night, and I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to interview him. And I forced my voice. If you watch my interview with Doug Jones, you can tell I am pushing that voice out because I am not missing this opportunity. He's still, even though he wasn't my first interview. My first interview was the Nostalgia Critic at St. Louis or Anime St. Louis, but my first real official celebrity interview was Doug Jones, and I will always appreciate that man for this. And I want to interview him again because there's so much more to talk about now. Um, but if you listen to that review or watch that review on the channel, I am pushing my voice out because I told my friend Aaron, who was running the camera for me, I said, "Yeah." Um, I was like, "I'm not missing this." And I even told him, I think during the interview, it's like I can barely talk. So uh, I wasn't gonna miss it, but yeah, that's what this reminded me of. Where I like to earlier today, I was having trouble talking. Let's see. Trench says don't hear any different. I think I read that. Zanson Yatsunika used to do a get on the mic every week, and that's why he does it like this now. Yeah, I liked get on the mic. Don't get me wrong. I loved doing that show. I wish I could have worked it out better. Um, to where you could have listened to it on audio devices and stuff. And I did have that deal uh, before with my buddy Dennis. Uh, and I mean, he's still trying to do his thing with wrestling podcasts and everything, and his functioning drunks podcast and everything. So I wished him well. It wasn't clicking. Like I said, it was nothing personal. He was putting it on like iTunes and stuff for us, and I just didn't really have time to figure out how to do that stuff. Maybe again someday. But honestly, I like just keeping stuff here on the YouTube channel. It just makes it easier for me. Let's see, Trencher. When I read the book, I remember that she should be the main character. And if they went with that, this movie might be good. Talking about the Mortal, was it Mortal Instruments? Yeah, it looks like they're making her the main character. The two trailers I've seen of that movie, it looks like she's the main character. I mean, he's a supporting character and will be a main character as well, but they're really pushing her, saying she's special and all this stuff. So I am curious to see that. Tinky says I like this format. I should tune in on Wednesday nights then. It's every other Wednesday. I don't do it on Weak Side of the Boys because Lord knows what would happen. A live mic and my sons. Um, nah, so yeah, I'm trying to do every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. And this just happens to be the every other Wednesday today. Let's see. Zanzatan, yeah, he does every 2 weeks. Thank you. I knew you'd take care of me, guys. Let's see. Tanika says, "Hey Gino, I've been meaning to ask you, have I ever met Jason Momoa?" Yes, I have. Um, I met him at Indiana Comic Con right after they announced and released the first picture that he was going to be Aquaman before Justice League and all that. I mean, we're still friends on Facebook. I'm sure I have the picture either up on the Real Gino Facebook page or my personal Facebook page of me and him. And I always thought I was tall until I stood next to that monster. He was a cool guy though. I was there though. They made a big deal about this. At on a lot of the internet news sites. Someone I was there. Someone handed him a picture of Aquaman, and he colored. It was the blonde-haired, green or orange costume Aquaman, and he colored the hair. Made long black hair, made a black beard on him, and then they made a big deal about it because he wrote "fuck Marvel" uh, on the uh, on the autograph, and I was in line, maybe like five, six, seven people back when he did that. And we all had a good laugh about that. Um, so that was fun. So yeah, I've met him. He was a cool dude. I enjoyed talking with him. I'm still big into Game of Thrones. I had him. I've got a figure in the other room there signed by him. Um, and then I got my picture with him. He was a cool guy. Excuse me. Um, let's see, Daniel. When's the last time you went to a sold out movie at your town? I don't know about sold out. But last year and I expect it this year too, when Amazon Prime did the Jumanji screening last week, or last year, it was pretty packed. I was surprised there was that many Amazon Prime members. I imagine there was a lot of people on the on the free trial, like I am right now, and how I got my Aquaman tickets. I expect Aquaman to be packed this year. Our town just doesn't, unless you go to the Avon on $5 night, which is preview night, like say, and I don't go there because not to diss the Avon. I told the owner of the Avon, I don't go there because there's too many people. I go to the AMC where there's not a lot of people and I can watch the movie and not have to deal with the crowd. Um, so, uh, so yeah, we don't get a lot of sold out movies. So, but we've had some packed ones, but I haven't been in a lot of packed theaters other than in St. Louis. I expect Spider-Man to be fairly packed this Saturday. I expect Bumblebee to be packed this Saturday. But then again, that's in St. Louis. Let's see. Lunar says thoughts on Men in Black spinoff starring Thor and Valkyrie. I'm fine with it. I like those two. I like the other people they've announced. I can't remember everyone, but I know that they've announced a few other people. I like them too. I think they need some sort of cameo from Tommy Lee Jones or from Will Smith. I'd like to see a different movie. Uh, I'm fine with it. Um, I don't. I'm not gonna say I'm looking forward to it or anything, but I'm okay with it. Tristan, what's going on? Um, Tanika says she is subbed, but not always here. I feel that way too. um, Oh, and Tanika says "Schoolgirl Scream." I imagine that's for Jason Momoa and not me. Tanika, thanks. Um, let's see. Zepsar, and I saw this as a 6'3" man. He is a massive dude. If you're talking about Momoa, he's a big man. He's got to be 6'5", 6'6". Um, let's see, Ryan, if you were to get a celebrity to sign something obscure or even outright bad, what would you want to get signed? Oh boy, I can tell you I've had some weird stuff signed already. Um, some of you may have heard my Bruce Campbell story. Um, when I met Bruce Campbell, I think I pissed him off not once but twice. Um, I I brought a picture of Autolycus from Hercules for him, and he ended up being fine with that, but he was kind of surprised. He thought it was a joke, and I was like, "No, I grew up with that show, and I really liked your character." He's like, "Okay, fine." But then I had him sign a picture of Lobster Johnson from Hellboy, and at first he's like, "What the hell is this?" And I said, "Well, you did the voice for Lobster Johnson on the Hellboy game." Uh, and I said, I liked the performance, so I wanted you to have to sign that. And he's like, "Oh, fine." And he was kind of indifferent and kind of jerky about it. And to come to find out, I guess uh he didn't get like his royalties or paid from that. I guess they didn't release the DLC. But the video had just been on YouTube, and I had just seen the video on YouTube. Uh so I guess he wasn't too happy about that. The other person that wasn't too happy with me for something obscure was William Shatner. And I know many of you heard this story that I had him sign something from Fanboys, and as he did his cameo in that night, it's like my favorite one of my favorite parts of that movie. And he looks at me, he's like, "Fanboys, really?" And this was back when he was trying to be, you know, boo Star Wars, yay Star Trek, where he was a little too serious about it. Um, and he did sign it, but he was just kind of, just kind of pushed it aside. And as I walked out of the line, I said, and I screamed out, "Yeah, this is the best $75 I ever spent." And I got a dirty look from William Shatner. So I was, it kind of made me happy. Um, let's see. But yeah, I can't think of anything other obscure, but I do like bringing people something different to sign than, oh, here's the same picture. Like when I met Scott Bakula, I took a picture from The Informant because they filmed it in my town and I was in it. I mean, the back of my head was in it anyway. Um, and we got to talk about that movie for 10, 15 minutes in line. And he liked the fact that someone brought something from The Informant, like a passion project, and didn't bring, yet another Star Trek picture, another Quantum Leap picture. So, I always like trying to bring something different, to have people sign. And he says, for example, at Fan Expo in Toronto, I got Carrie Ellis and Christopher Lloyd to sign a DVD of who he loves. Nice. That's funny. I never did get to see the Oogie Loves, but I've seen Brad's review of it, and that was enough. Desiree says Momoa seems cool, very chill. My ma's into him, as is most chicks. I know he ain't my type. Not into muscles. Get the appeal, not for me though. Um, yeah, Momoa is the dream of many a women, and some dudes, I'm sure. Um, let's see, Scott. I just took advantage of Tommy Wiseau having a sale on his web store, and he included a personalized signed picture. It doesn't help that my first name is actually Tommy, so it says to Tommy from Tommy. That's great. To Tommy from Tommy. Oh, hi, Mark. Um, yeah, the room. Let's see. Zadstan, people, I need to start a new RPG on my PS2. So tell me, should I choose Final Fantasy 12 or Rogue Galaxy? Uh, let's see. Zepster says Final Fantasy. Um, I never got into a ton of RPGs on the PS2, so I can't really help out there. I played a few, but when I got the PS2, I was into other types of games at the time. Uh, my RPGs that I like to play, I'm still a fan of Shining Force on Genesis. Probably tells how old I am. Desiree says I love Final Fantasy 12 as my favorite Final Fantasy characters. Uh, Balthier, the Sky Pirate, I love them, clever rogue types. Scott says, also to throw in on this, I have Starscream signed by Steve Bloom. That's awesome. He was super nice, totally worth 3 hour line. Yeah, I've stood in some long lines for some people. Todd McFarlane was 5.5 hours, but if you see his autograph, he draws his name, and it's awesome. It was totally worth it. Um, there was some that I stood in line a little too long, and they weren't worth it, but most of the people I've met have been pretty cool. Um, let's see, Zanstan, and my dad has signed or assigned Jerry Lee Lewis CD of the movie of his life. I signed it and threw it and threw it to my dad. My dad laughed and was happy to get him to sign it. It was a long time ago. Let's see, Zanstan. Okay, Final Fantasy it is. Ryan says another example. I got Jim Cummings to sign the Blu-ray of the Garbage Pail Kids movie where he voiced the greaser and the nerd. He was also cool at that. It's funny that you say that because a lot of people rip on certain movies or whatever. I'll give you a perfect example. Like the Super Mario movie. You know, when I met Samantha Mathis, I talked to her about that, and she's just like, people may rip on these movies, but the time we had on set, even though they had a rough time on that set, and they probably don't remember half of it because they were plastered. Um, she said we still have fun times on these sets. So I mean, these movies may not be good for the people that watch them, but for the people that made them, they were still a good experience. So a lot of them don't get crazy upset about if you bring them up something from an obscure movie that no one's heard of or a movie that people consider bad. And I like that. I like that a lot of them are cool about it. There's some that aren't, but I do like when they are cool about that stuff. Tristan says, got George Takei to sign the cover of an X-Men Star Trek crossover, Wizard World Chicago back in the day. That's pretty cool. I know they tried to get Carl Urban to sign about a dealer tried to get him to sign about, I don't know, it was probably about 200 copies of Dredge Dread and X-Men comics one time. He kicked him out of line. Um, let's see, Zanstan, do you know that Forgotten Realms Demon Stone was released on PS2? Yes, that's where I played it first. Um, I played it a long time ago when I had it. And I got to the level where I think I'm at now. I didn't get to play it today. I'm probably going to play some tomorrow, depending on what goes on tomorrow night. Um, I just finished the Drizzt level, which I was very excited to play because damn it, that guy needs games, movies, and everything else. But yeah, yeah, that's right. I played on PS2 first, and I was surprised when I found it on Good Old Games. It's a pain in the butt to record because I have to record my audio separate from the game audio because the game's so old that you can't adjust the audio in the game. But oh well, whatever. Um, let's see, Tristan, love it the first Nolan verse. Let's see. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna rest my voice for us tonight. I'm glad that the second attempt worked out well. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Definitely make sure to check in 2 weeks, where I'm sure on Wednesday, and it will be what Wednesday the 19th. We'll probably have another stream, uh, and on who knows what we'll talk about them, but definitely if you got topics that you want to talk about, definitely drop me a message on Twitter at the real Gino, or on the community page. I'll try to put something up where you guys can drop comments. But anyway, we'll go through the last couple comments here. By the way, at Fan Expo, one of the other guests was Rob Schneider, and I kid you not, he had Norman the North Prince ready to be signed. I was almost thinking of getting one. Hey, some people might like it. That movie, I didn't like it, but you never know. Some people might like that movie. But yes, anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me for this low budget live stream. I appreciate each and every one of you from stopping by. If you like what you've seen here and you are already following me on the channel, make sure to subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.